Welcome back to the program. If you're just joining us, this is Kivumbi 2017 right here on KTN News, your election headquarters, where we're doing everything to make sure you get the rolling coverage or, wall-to-wall coverage of Kenya's elections, which is just 3 days to go. And now, let me just introduce my guests once again here in studio. And on my far left is Professor Maurice Samutabi, who is a political analyst and the Vice Chancellor of Kenya University. Then we have Dr. Njoki Ndiba, who is a political analyst. Then we have Dr. Robert Kagiri Muia, who is also a political analyst. And then we have Shefa Okore from the Siasa Place. She's a program officer with them. So let me just start with the elder in the house, that is Professor there. And let me just pose this question we had for our viewers earlier on our Twitter poll.
Yes.
Do you think key issues in these campaigns have been addressed by the two main protagonists especially?
Thank you, Yusuf, for that question. I think my answer is that we thought that the political campaigns will focus on the manifestos. We thought that security should really rank high, especially Kenya's mission in Somalia, which has certain challenges. We thought that the border incursions by Al-Shabaab will actually have the upper hand in the campaigns. That has not taken place. We also thought that health issues in this country, where we have a lot of health tourism to India, many Kenyans are going to India for treatment for cancer and other ailments that can be handled locally in Kenya. We thought this should actually be up on the campaign. This is neither addressed by any of the two campaigns. We thought also that the issue of water, especially dry parts of this country, should by right now have piped water. In the 2030 vision, it was agreed that by 2020, all Kenyans will have access to a piped water from every part of the country. But we are only 2 years from 2020. We don't know if that will come true. We thought that NASA and Jubilee will be addressing that. The other issue is actually education. We are talking about 3-4 different tiers of education. Some schools have better provisions than others. Some parts of the country, kids are still sitting on stones in classrooms. Others don't have roofs over them. They are studying under trees and so on. So we thought this will be addressed by both campaigns. None of the campaigns has addressed that.
And
so there are many issues.
Speaking about education, both NASA and Jubilee have promised free secondary education.
Yes, waiver for secondary school. That's the only issue that they seem to be harping on. The two campaigns are really jumping on that issue, but none is addressing the infrastructure imbalance between some parts of the country. Where northern Kenya, some schools are operating under trees, where many parts of the country, some primary schools don't even have proper floors and so on, proper classrooms, but nobody's talking about that. The focus seems to be on issues that are easy to go and sail with.
Dr. Njoki, we've seen both NASA, of course we're going to talk about these two main protagonists because they're the front runners, at least according to the opinion polls. So they both had their manifestos. Do you think they've highlighted key issues affecting Kenyans?
Pretty much, when I look at Jubilee, what they what they set out to do in 2013, they have stuck to that, and they have done most of the work, and that is why they are seeking another term so that they can complete what they set out to do. On the other hand, when we talk about education and saying that by September we are going to have free education. We only have a few weeks. I don't know how possible that is. It's going to be very difficult to operationalize that.
Daktari, what's your view on that?
I can only talk about the education. I agree with her that it's difficult to operationalize because...
I believe you're an expert in the education sector?
Yes, I am.
Oh. Definitely, you have to choose education.
I have to choose education, yes. Yeah, the switch over to the new system is going to be, it takes a lot in terms of infrastructure, in terms of getting the capacity for teachers, and also even the paradigm shift into the new system is something that cannot be done overnight. So it's a big challenge that is facing either side, whichever side wins. How to fund this? Already we know that in terms of capitation, the amount which is sent to every per student is not adequate to run schools presently. So you find most schools are still reaching out to parents, even for their primary education. So how this works out will be a big challenge. People do not also realize that the way the government works is that this money does not flow consistently. Taxes are collected at different phases. I think 25% is in the first quarter, 45% in the second, and 25% in the third quarter. So those flows of tax money that now later on moves on to be given as capitation to the schools sometimes affects the smooth running of schools. So there are all these challenges that are still facing them.
Yes.
And those are things that both sides of the political divide need to address very clearly, yes. Yeah.
Shefa,
yes.
finally.
Interesting. I think that when you ask the question about or around have the mainstream political parties or the candidates been able to address the issues of Kenyans, it's quite obvious that it's been politicized. So I don't think at the moment anybody's trying to implement anything or even try to see it come to fruition. I think they're over-promising, first of all, just based on what people have said. September is here, and anybody promising you free something in September, honestly, is not promising you quality, right? So could it be that they're just promising quantity in regards to, okay, let everybody just go to school. We don't care how good it is or how great the system is or how, or how you will benefit from being in a school.
Yes.
But as long as we get to a place where people can say, okay, we promise free, so it is free, just go. Because does free mean quality? Right? And what does quality mean to them, even, the people who are promising? So for me, the first key thing around young people, because I deal with young people and women a lot, was employment. How does NASA intend to fix this? How does Jubilee intend to fix this? And whatever it is that they said within their manifesto, are they able to articulate this even to the voters that they are seeking their votes at the moment? Are the voters able to understand that? Another issue is health. Affordable health care for young people, very important. Majority of the population cannot afford. And things like NHIF, which we tend to think that is very affordable now, is not affordable to most young people because they're not employed. Another thing is education, like we've all said. How do we get quality from a system that is just open, a system that is given very little time or minimal time to implement, and the way we've seen that we struggle with implementation in Kenya with basic things. So you're wondering how vast and how big education is. Are we able to deliver? Another thing is two-third gender.
Yes.
I've not had any of these candidates talk about two-third gender as a cause for action or as a cause to be put down in law, that we need this signed. All of them are talking about we've given women opportunity, but opportunity where, opportunity how, opportunity for whom.
Exactly. And later on, of course, we're going to talk about women in leadership within this program. But Prof, we've seen, both NASA and Jubilee launching their respective manifestos. If my memory serves me right, Jubilee had promised back in 2013 to offer youth employment. They promised about, is it 500,000 or 1 million jobs per year?
Right.
We're going to talk about that shortly. But for now, let's revisit our breaking news that we had for you earlier, and that is controversial preacher Gilbert Dare, who has been extradited from the United Kingdom.